Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. We are back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. This is the place where you get actionable ideas, insight, and inspiration to turn your real estate career into a life of freedom. We are back with a very special guest. We're talking all about branding and marketing and his new book, The Road to Recognition. We're going to dig into some awesome stuff. The conversation behind the scenes has been so good that we wish we would have recorded it. And hopefully we'll get all the stuff that we were talking about behind the scenes onto the actual live broadcast so you guys get all the goodness. But before we bring in our special guest, let me welcome in the junior grandmaster himself, Greg McDaniel. Greg, what's up?
Let's get ready to rumble. Sorry, I had to do that. Okay, I just had to do that. Seth,
it feels good, right?
Feels good, man. Just to let the heat out. Dude, I gotta tell you guys. We were talking. Matt was saying we were talking off air before we came on, and dude, Seth, man, holy Christ. Are you going to make it rain or what today? I was like, I actually had nothing to say. I'm like, Seth, Matt, shut up. I want this on recording. I mean, we're wasting the good stuff on ourselves. Let's get this in front of everybody, damn it. But dude, I got to tell you something, Matt, and Seth. I was doing some cold calls today, right? And I was doing some just around the property. This one pending, trying a new idea that the steel trap Eileen over here, gave me. And I talked to this lady, Diana. And I gave her a little spiel and the whole 9 yards. She's like, I know you, Greg. I'm like, oh shit. Okay.
Is that a good thing? Yeah.
I'm like, is this good?
You mean from my life as a real estate agent or my previous life as a drug enforcement for the mafia? Like, what are we talking about here?
Exactly. And so the funny thing is that she's like, Greg, do you remember me? You helped me get a job 2 years ago. And I'm like, oh my God, I totally remember that. I helped her get a job here at Rockcliffe. It didn't fit her because they wanted her to be the office receptionist and be like their bitch and clean up everything that she shouldn't have to clean up. But she was through the conversation, and because I helped her out in the past, someone else had brought her a for sale package yesterday and left it on her front porch. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. She's like, oh, don't worry about him, Greg. I'm only going to work with you. Thanks for helping me out a couple of years ago. I'm like, well, good things do come around. That is pretty damn awesome. So
now, has she been getting like videos in the meantime, or is she just like she hasn't heard word one from you? All right.
No, not word one since I helped her get the job and did the call today. 23 calls deep. Boom.
Man.
Love it.
Yeah. Very
so positive rant today, Matt.
I like your positive rants. Let's stick with those. All right, so let's officially bring in our special guest, Seth Price from Playster. Seth, what's up, man?
How are you doing, man? Thanks so much for having me. Super
excited to have you. So share with everybody kind of what your role is at Playster, what Playster is, and kind of where you're at and what you do on a daily basis.
Yeah, so I have been with Playster since the very beginning. There's two co-founders, Frederick Towns and Matt Barbet, and I joined them before they had a product to sell and ran the go-to-market teams. Not today, because we have some other folks that do that, but from our first sale to our first 10,000 50,000 sales, and ran everything from marketing to PR to the individual sales, cold calling, you name it. That's the stuff that we do. And the Playster platform is pretty straightforward. It's website, CRM, email marketing, lead capture, so everything you need to sort of market yourself as an agent or a broker.
Yeah. And I know Greg and both of us actually have been following Playster because of the academy. So give people just a little taste of what that is.
Yeah. So I like to eat my own dog food in the branding sense. And the idea is that when we started, even before we launched the product, I started writing articles on how to be a better marketer. So taking sort of the approach that I would do as an agent. I had my license for 5 years. And sharing that sort of everything that I could think of that behind the scenes. So the first 60 posts I wrote were all about a beginner's guide to being a real estate agent, which is still, if you Google it, probably on the first page. And we've written maybe 1,200 articles, 250 videos. We've got tons of content, and it's a huge driver of inbound traffic. So that's how a lot of people find us.
Yeah, you guys are one of my go-tos, no joke, man. I always am getting stuff from you guys and copying it and reading it and printing it out and bringing it to people. I'm constantly using your guys' content, and
that's great.
We also have your guys' site. I mean, we are in bed with you fools.
I love it. Well, I mean, it's today the attention span of our customers and us, it's like it's not enough just to have a good product. You have to provide value beyond the product. And so the companies that are figuring out how to do that, and the agents and the brokers that are figuring out how to do that, like they're crushing it. And the ones that are still sort of going, hey, well, I'm good at what I do, which is required, that's just not enough today, because there's all the time that the consumer doesn't need your service. Like, how do you provide value during that period of time? Because that's what's important.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that is the key, because otherwise they're going to forget who you are. You drop off the earth in those 5 years.
We can barely even have conversations with people that we care about. Like, think about sitting at the dining room table with their phones out, and you're like, you want someone to like look you in the eye and pay attention, but they're busy.
Nobody under the age of 40 is going to look you in the eye. Good luck with that.
Oh yeah. And here, try this trick. Have a conversation with someone and then ask them to repeat the last 5 things you said.
Oh God.
I already forgot Matt's last name.
I know. I'm just
exactly
what would happen if I asked Greg that.
It's not going to happen. So
No,
if we're going to think as business owners that we meet someone, have a great handshake and a hug, and we have a conversation on the phone, that they're going to remember who we are, like, we're completely mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is where branding can be really powerful, because it's all about, we talked about this before we went on the air, but it's about owning that one thing, owning that, renting that space in their brain about the one thing. And we'll get into that later, but I wanted to go super tactical here right up front. There was a good question from Angela Williams. This is on the lead gen description objections page. She says, are hashtags important for your real estate brand? And if so, which ones do you use when posting on social media sites? So Seth, how do you think of hashtags?
Yeah, so I wouldn't think of hashtags as a branding tool. They are an amplification tool, meaning that there are streams of people that are searching for or following certain hashtags. So an example might be, if you like a particular area, the waterfront of that area, or there's trending topics that have hashtags. What you want to do is, if you're sharing a piece of content and it's relevant to those folks, you want to use the hashtags that people are already using. If you create your own hashtag, the likelihood that anyone is going to remember it is minimal, because you don't have Apple's budget to spend on marketing that hashtag. Like,
don't. Damn it.
Yeah, I know it's unfortunate, but it's not a branding tool, it's an amplification tool. And if you use it that way, you can get more traction for each post that you send out.
So Seth, I sometimes send people to Hashtagify to kind of look at their,
which is great.
Is there another one that you recommend?
That's probably one of the easiest ones to use, because they've got the free part of that service, and you can search for trending hashtags. Now, the other thing you can do is you can use tools to search for similar content that you're creating in your area, and see who's the most popular content, and see what hashtags are being used there, and draft on those. So simply, you might just look at the most successful people in your market on Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat, and look at what those hashtags are, and these are experiments, try replicating those hashtags to see if you show up in that stream and you get more reach.
Well, the top 6 that I'm coming across right now is from 1 to 6. Fox News, Real Donald Trump, Lady Gaga, BBC Breaking, RT._com, and BBC World. So how would you leverage those?
I wouldn't.
Stay away from the Trump.
Yeah.
Stay away from the Trump.
I wouldn't.
I was gonna say, you're looking globally, right, Greg?
Yeah, you can narrow that search down, and you can use keywords to narrow that search down. So, if you're in the startup world, let's say you're using Instagram. There's a tool called Later, which allows you to schedule your Instagram posts. And what you can see from that is you can see which hashtags are being utilized for those types of posts. So let's say I'm doing a post and it's all about entrepreneurship and startups. Now, when I search for those hashtags, I'm going to see that startups probably has, 91 million people that follow that one, and entrepreneurship is up there, but then it's going to list 20 other hashtags. And then I can decide which ones are appropriate for my content and make sure that I use them on a regular basis so the content gets discovered.
Now, do you want to use, like, when I'm doing posting stuff, sometimes I'll do I'll do my live lead gen shows that I do after this on a Monday through Thursday. I'll do like hashtag real estate, hashtag prospecting, hashtag, and then some sort of crazy one. Like, let's go get my ass kicked, or it's going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, so those are two different things. So the first two that you suggested, real estate and prospecting, are for people that are looking for those topics, right? The third one is just you being real and being human and funny. And that allows you to connect with people. So they're two different things. One of them is not necessarily going to be your brand, but it's a representation of you as a human. Like, hey, you're a naturally comfortable person and you're funny, and that gets represented in that hashtag. And that's a way to do that.
Yeah.
Matt, he called me funny.
Yeah, don't let it go to your head.
You are funny.
All right, don't encourage himself. All right, there's a really good episode that we did with Rod Watson. This was a while back already, but he went really deep into how he used hashtags here in San Diego. And some specific, like that he was able to find hashtags where there's actually specific neighborhoods in town, like higher end neighborhoods.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
That's gold. But I think the big misunderstanding with hashtags that a lot of people have is you mentioned it already, creating their own and then just randomly using them, thinking of them as if they were keywords, and they're not. You have to think of them in terms of they actually have to be keywords that people would be searching for, and you're assuming they're going to pop up a stream of other posts with this particular hashtag in it, and hopefully yours will be in it. If nobody's searching for that hashtag, you've just basically wasted your time.
Yeah, you wasted the character space there. So an example would be is if you've created some content on remodeling, and you certainly want to use the hashtag of remodeling, new home buyer, and whatever your geography is, because you don't really care if someone is halfway across the world that searches for that. You want it to be very specific. And that allows you to hone in. Geographic hashtags are great because you're trying to draft. So here's an example. I was just in Banff, which is in Canada, outside of Calgary. Beautiful place. And I took these amazing GoPro pictures of skiing. And every time I posted them, I included hashtag Banff and hashtag ski in Banff. And I got so many direct messages from folks in that area that are like, those are beautiful pictures. All of a sudden, I've connected with people locally that I had no connection with before. I can see from my analytics that they followed me on Twitter. They connected with me on Facebook, and I now have this relationship that I would never have had. So if you translate that to real estate, imagine if the stuff that's not salesy, you hashtag your town. Maybe you even, if it's really cool, there's probably a mayor's hashtag or something that's for the city. Include those if it's appropriate. Don't include those on your sale thing, because then it's like, oh, why did they do that?
Yeah, like new listing, open house, stuff like that. Like keep it locally focused.
Yeah, exactly. Be appropriate for when you're sharing. You don't go to a dinner party and start talking about new listings.
Oh God, no. Right. I mean, I've had to tell Matt not to do that several times. Finally,
yeah, that's me. That's me, just showing up with my trumpet in hand, my bullhorn, talking about my latest.
That's not the San Diego vibe, man. That's definitely not the San Diego.
I know that is definitely not the San Diego vibe.
I mean, could you do something funny like real estate POTUS? You know, you start running on something like that. Since the president is such a big conversation right now, both sides of the aisle, and riots and blah blah blah.
Most brands really suffer, and this is brands big and small, when entertaining politics, because you're going to have a backlash no matter what, right? You can't pick a side without having someone disliking you for picking that side. And so my suggestion is to avoid it. I mean, unless it's like it's your only DNA, right? If you are serving the super left or super right wing environmentalists, and that's your thing, and that is sort of oozes from your pores, then go for it, because
that's a good point.
You don't really care about anybody else. But if you're not, and you're like, I'll work with people because I like them and I can make their lives better, then you want to make that decision not to talk about politics.
Politics, religion, sex, orientation, all that stuff, just leave it alone.
Yeah, I mean, unless it's your thing. Like if it's your thing, let's say you're openly gay and that's your thing and you want to support gay rights, hey, more power to you. Do that and have that conversation, because you will self-select the right people. A great example of that is the Seattle Divas, Kim Colaprete and Chavi. They run this brokerage out of Seattle, and it is really embrace the LGBT community. They have events, they have drag nights. I mean, all the folks that work there are part of that community. They are a hub for that community, and they are crushing it, right? They self-select the people that they want to be around because they only want to be around people that are open to that environment. And that's a commitment that they've made. You don't have to do that, but that's just an example of how that works.
Right. There's a lot of, I mean, the Castro district here in San Francisco, they have a couple of openly gay just real estate brokers, and they work at the Castro and the gay market, and like they just dominate that part of the city. I mean, just crush heads.
So this is a good point, and this may be ahead of what we're talking is part of branding is being distinctive and making a stand that you are something and you're not something else. You can't be everything, right? You can't all of a sudden sort of be a chameleon because no one remembers a chameleon. You have to be distinctively something for people to remember the brand. And if you from a company perspective, like we like unique, like that's how we remember. And that's why even some of those, I would call them less or tacky or branding techniques where you like skin the car and you're the dog friendly realtor. That stuff actually works.
Oh my God, dude. I was out door knocking the other day. Now when you said skin the car, I had to laugh because I got one of those XB Zions, a little boxy looking little things.
Yeah.
Years ago, threw bright, skin all over it, the M3 skin, and our faces were glued everywhere. You had 14-foot moving trucks, same thing. And we haven't had those vehicles in probably a minimum of 5 years. I was door knocking with Midori, our new team member here, and this lady who's in real estate goes, "Oh my God, just like I love seeing your trucks around town." I'm like,
Yep.
It's been at least 5 years, but it works.
It works. So it's not like, hey, you don't have to all of a sudden say you're the pet friendly realtor, but if you are passionately a dog person, like I guarantee you at the dog run, you're meeting people and they can tell your love of animals. If you bring your dogs to the office and you have a pet friendly office, like that's a thing and that attracts people and it's unique. And I'm not suggesting that you go out today and sort of manufacture something, but being who you are authentically allows you to attract the right people to your door that will remember you for that activity. And that's why the skinning works. If you're like, hey, I'm the pet friendly realtor and it's on my VW Bug and it's on my truck and I rented buses and I do it consistently, everyone will remember who you are because you've taken a stand for that thing.
Yeah, I've taken some heat lately for the way that I talk on podcasts, and I talk on.
Do you curse a little bit?
And
all right,
people
I for one am shocked to find this out. Never mind that I suggested we call it Real Estate Uncensored for a reason because I knew him. Yeah.
No, but I was taking some serious flack from some seriously close people in my life. They're like, dude, you got to tone it back. I'm like, fuck you, I'm not toning it back. This is who I am. This is I took a stand on it, and I've had to go toe to toe with people. And I'm like, oh shit, I don't know how this is going to turn out. This could really bomb. But at the end of the day, they're like, okay, well, just do what you do. And Matt and I have talked about it, and we've tweaked. We haven't eliminated. We've tweaked. How voracious I am at times on that, and for certain reasons. But everyone that contacts me goes, Greg, I love it. The fact that you say fuck all the time. You're finally you resonate with me, and I'm like,
yeah, you're real.
Yeah, there's nothing. You're not gonna find any bullshit with me. If I don't like you, you're gonna know about it.
And what's cool about that, and this is the fear that people have, is that they're gonna scare away people. And the truth is, yes, you are gonna scare away some people, but you're going to attract people that are so into who you are and what you represent that they become your super fans. They're your influencers in the market. Those are the people that are going to refer you even when it may not have been perfect because they're going to cut you slack because they love who you are. That's the kind of business I want to build.
Yeah, I'm 100% behind you. I mean, 1,000 raving fans is better than 100,000, lukewarm people that kind of like, I'll just put like that much effort into it if I'm going to work with you. I want someone like a jackhammer going out there and just paving roads and tearing things up and getting through the jungle instead of the guy with like the pocket knife going, ka-dink, there's a leaf, ka-dink, there's a leaf. Like, motherfucker, we're not going to get through the damn jungle.
Well, and that's why the show, we've been very fortunate to have the show grow by those people, because they're super passionate and they share the show with their friends, which is funny to us to find out that they're sharing it with friends that aren't even in real estate, and the friends then watch the show, enjoy it, get something out of it, even though they're not even in the business. So you can tell that there is like that, just Greg being authentic and us being authentic together. Yes, it's repelled people that we didn't want, but it's attracted so much of an active fan base and the audience that resonates with what me and Greg have to say, and especially with the way that Greg comes across, that they have gone out of their way to turn other people on to what we're doing. Whereas if we were just kind of ho-hum in the middle or whatever, they might pay attention, but there's nothing to get them, there's nothing compelling for them to go out and say, hey, person that I know who's not even in real estate, you've got to sit down and watch this.
You gotta take,
which still mystifies me to this day.
Yeah, I know, but it's so funny though. It's so funny. I mean, my workout teacher, I mean, you know, when she's up front, she's like this 5'3" ball of energy. She's in medical sales. She's like, dude, your show rocks, man. It has to do with real estate, but you know what? It's still a great sales tactics. And I'm like, you got a point there, you know?
This is why branding is so important. If you think about what's happened in the last 15 years. So in the last 15 years, we've lost 5 million manufacturing jobs, which are not coming back, no matter what happens.
Yep.
We have gone from having a tenure. So in the past, in the workforce, the median tenure 15 years ago was 9.5 years. Right now, it's 4.2 years. So the likelihood that someone's going to keep their job is shrinking. And the gig economy, so the people that work like jobs that aren't long-term, maybe they're freelance, maybe they're Uber, but it doesn't have to be technology, that has grown 70% in the last 15 years. So 15% of the workforce is working gig economy. So that means paycheck to paycheck. And so without a brand, you're 2 clicks away from obscurity.
That's scary.
If you're in real estate, we're all in the same business, right? We're all selling the same inventory. So how do you stand out without creating a brand and a name for yourself? And there's all these different tactics that you can use, but if you don't use it, like, why do I choose you over someone else if I don't know anything about you? And these brand building activities allow us to have ambassadors, these assets that you've created, this content that you've created that represents you when you're not around. And that's what you want. You want a whole bunch of representatives that are literally talking your DNA, representing your DNA when you are doing the hard work of trying to run your business. Because you can't always be promoting, because you do have to go in and actually sell and close the deal, and you've got to do some paperwork. You got to do both. You got to do both.
True. Yeah.
You know, so okay, Seth, I mean, you are speaking such a great amount of truth right now that people may or may not want to hear. So the people that want to break out of that shell, they want to go through that glass ceiling, they want to take that next step and become their true brand, but they're afraid. What are a couple of steps, or just one step, or something, a book? I mean, we're going to talk about your book, but we're going to talk about, you know, what are a couple of things people can do to just say, you know, fuck it, and I'm doing it. I'm done. I'm just going to go.
Yeah. So the first thing that I suggest that people look at is, if you've been in this business for some period of time, so 6 months, a year, 18 months or longer, you probably have a book of the past business that you could pull out all the sides, and you could just make a back of the napkin assessment of who's my ideal client, how did I get them, and who are those people? Like, where do they hang out? What's their demographic? Do I tend to work with guys who are truck drivers, or do I tend to work with, you know, divorcees that are, you know, selling a house and buying another one? So you can figure out who's your tribe. Because once you figure out who your tribe, then you can start talking to that tribe and spending more energy to add value to that tribe, as opposed to adding value to the ones that aren't closing for you. And once you start doing that, then you can go, okay, well, what are the activities that are going to be repeatable brand building activities that are going to have conversation with my tribe continually? So when they're not looking to buy and sell, I've got a reason to interact with them. And then when it's time to buy and sell, they already know me. And when they come up to see me, they want to shake my hand because they already know who I am.
Yeah.
That is what a brand activity is. So the first part, figure out who are your people? Who do you want to be around, and what's important to them? So 2 sides of the same coin. then once you figure out what's important to them, you got to figure out how do you deliver that. And it's not just the transaction, the service part, because I think if you're in this business, you sort of understand that when you get someone in a butt in a seat and you're going to show them properties, like how to do that part and how to do it well. But how do you provide value when they don't need you? And that's the brand building activity. And there's a whole bunch of ways that that can manifest. So could be a podcast similar to what you guys doing.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it almost always takes the form of some sort of content. So whether that be written content or video content or infographics or tools that you create for people to use, it can also be activities. So, we talked about this earlier. Imagine if you were the person that every time you walked into the 3 Starbucks in your town, you paid it back, meaning you bought Starbucks for the 5 people in line behind you every single time you went in. What would that cost you? $20 a pop or $25 a pop? Every time you went into whatever it is. Every time you went in, wouldn't every person that worked at that Starbucks know who you were? And wouldn't it make sense to then know their names? Wouldn't they know what business you were in? And guess who they would be more likely to recommend? You build a reputation by those activities. That's a simple one. You can certainly expand on that, but it's the idea of figuring out where your tribe is going to go and figuring out how to be useful and known and build a reputation in that space.
Yeah. It makes sense. And I want you, before we dive into some other things, we were talking a little bit about that, kind of that concept of the coffee shop kind of as a strategic place to get business and make yourself known. I want you to go deeper on that, because there were some other things that you mentioned around that strategy that you can use that in other ways besides just buying coffee for the people around you. So
without a doubt,
go back over that again with the coffee shop.
So if I were looking at it, mm-hmm. and I were looking to build a business around it, I'd go, hey, I live in Providence, Rhode Island. There are 3 different types of coffee shops here. There are the Dunkin' Donuts style, right, which is sort of, it's less expensive. The least expensive, a lot of loyal fans, that's great. I need to decide whether that's where my client hangs out, or maybe you're the Starbucks person. Mm-hmm. Or you're the craft coffee person. Those guys, ear spools, tattoos, they grind the coffee every day. They use locally roasted beans. Like, they're really into their craft. Yeah. So first you determine which one are you? Like, where do your customers spend their time? So let's say it's the craft one. What I would do is, I'm going to introduce myself to each one of those because I like coffee and I like craft coffee. I want to know who the owners are. I want to talk about who the baristas are. I want to know their names. They're, of course, going to ask you your name and what you do. So that's the beginning. Then I want to create content around it. Wouldn't it be interesting to write an article that was like the 10 best craft coffee houses in Providence, highlight them, pictures of their space, information about who they are, what their hours are, maybe even a video about who they are. Imagine going into the shop and going, hey guys, I'm doing this post. I'd love to do a video of your place. Mm-hmm. They're going to not only know who you are, but you're going to help make them successful. This is the type of influencer marketing that allows you to create a memorable piece of content that's not just a list that has no connection to humans. And then what you do is every time you have new people coming into the neighborhood, new customers that are interested in moving, imagine sharing your favorite restaurants that you've already done this content about, or your favorite coffee shops. So it's taking it one step further to make it personalized. And then once you create that content, it lives on forever. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not you've done the front loaded effort, and then all of a sudden you've got this asset. Yeah. You've got an asset that you can interact with every person that you interact with.
So a couple of things, Seth, without you knowing, I talk about the 60-day challenge, and it's about going to a coffee shop. You shoot on all your social media where you're going to invite people down to come down and hang out with you, and just buy them a cup of coffee if they come down. And then I also say, look, take $100, give it to the barista, and pay for $100 worth of coffee. I'm the guy in the checkered shirt sitting over in the corner if anyone's got any questions, right?
Yeah.
The baristas are talking, the people in line are talking, the people around you are talking. Then when people go to the back of their offices, they're talking to their coworkers. Oh my God, I couldn't believe this guy bought me a cup of coffee, right?
Without a doubt.
And then, like you're saying, front loading the information. I also talk about 4 different videos you should make every single month on a rotating basis. And actually, one of my McDaniel Challenge gals, she's already doing it, Matt. It's fucking awesome. She just took the bulls and just ran with it. But it's like go interview a mayor or a police captain or something like that in the area. Go interview a principal of a school. Go interview a local restaurant, and then go talk about buyer and seller needs in your area, and run each of those videos for 7 days a week for $5 a day, $140 a month, and you'll get original content that's constantly going to be out there. And if they want to learn about the area, Matt Johnson, Greg McDaniel, those are the names that people are only going to see when it comes to that kind of information. Is that you're talking about that?
That's exactly it. But I want to make sure that it's on the destination that I own, meaning my site. So don't just have it live in social. Make sure that there's a foundation that people can go back to, because the platforms are going to change, right? Mm-hmm. Right now we're into Snapchat. Maybe Twitter goes away. I don't know if you use Twitter, but maybe it goes away. Facebook sort of owns the world at the moment, but there's all these upstarts that show up on a regular basis. So the destination is key. I also want to create, I'll call it atomizing the content. So a good example of 2 people that do that. One is Judy Winegar out of Warren, New Jersey. She has taken that approach of creating the local videos. She does the advertising for them. The site is this destination of all the things that she loves. Yoga, Pilates, restaurants. That's her thing. That's everyone awesome. In her town knows that she loves it. She has interviewed all of her favorite places. She has done an expose article for all of her favorite places. When her friends ask her, hey, I'm interested in yoga, what should I check out? She sends them a detailed article with a video interview of each one of her favorite yoga places. How awesome is that on all 3 sides of the relationship? So she's got the advertising going, she's got the relationship with the yoga studio, and then the end customer sort of goes, oh my God, she knows this town better than anybody else. So she's crushing it.
That is truly amazing. But the funny thing is so many people, and I'm speaking to myself when I say this. Matt and I've had this conversation, and he was kind of blown away by this. But sometimes, for some reason, I get caught sitting in this chair. If I'm not in this chair, I feel that I'm not contributing and I'm not marketing. I'm not putting it forward. Because I'm waiting for this god awful fucking thing to ring. But in reality, you get out there and do all these interviews and go showcase these areas. I mean, I want to get your personal professional opinion on this one. I just bought. You guys seen a lot of people play with these things. The Nano 360.
Yeah, the 360. Yeah.
Dude, how is that? I mean, that I think is going to revolutionize video. It's going to revolutionize Facebook ads. You can take a photo, promote the photo, and showcase different areas around your town without writing a single word. Yeah. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
So let me backtrack. I want to go back over one thing, then I'll come back to the 360. Okay. So you mentioned interviewing the mayor and significant people. I'll call them influencers in your market. There's 2 folks that have done this really well. One is Greg Fisher. He has, if you go to a site called Bend Station, BEND station.com, that's in Oregon. And the other one is Marguerite Greger, and she's got moved to Tacoma. And what they've done is they've not only created an interesting site, they've interviewed all of their favorite and most influential people in those markets. So Greg did it in a really interesting way. He was actually wanting to relocate to Bend, and he knew no one there. And so what he decided to do was do this outreach, and it was very strategic. He interviewed the founders of many of the companies that have relocation, and he also liked the tech. He interviewed the founders of the startup incubators, and he interviewed folks that were influential in that market. So think about this. Not only did he connect with them, but he's now got a network of people that know what he does, and he's friends with them. So he went from 0 to 60, 0 to $9 million in sales in less than a year without paid advertising.
I know Greg. I did a McDaniel challenge with him a long time ago, Matt and Seth.
Seriously?
When he first moved up there, and because when I went on, I'm like, I know that name. I know that site. Yeah, he's like, dude, come up, man. We'll go hit the river together. We'll drink some beer. Guys, I know some of the people.
He's a great dude.
super cool dude. He honestly almost talked me into it too.
And then Marguerite is the same way, which is she did a slightly different approach. Tacoma is a suburb basically of Seattle that is really blown up, and she wanted to be the person that was known for folks moving to the area. And so she launched this site. She decided to do a podcast as well, and she creates a bunch of content, and she interviewed all of the major influential political, educational creatives in that space to do this podcast, and they're like 90-minute podcasts. She gets inbound leads from this thing like nobody's business, because who else takes the time to go that deep? And then think about the flip side. If you called the mayor's office and just wanted to chat, you'd probably not get anywhere. But if you say, I have a show called Move to Tacoma, and I'd love to feature you on it, you are certainly going to get the PR secretary to respond and go, tell me more about your show. And most likely you're going to get an opportunity to interview them. That's power.
I ran across that problem. That son of a biscuit face, mayor of Walnut Creek, where I live, tax-paying citizen, damn it. She would not let me come over there and do a video, but I'm going to go. I love that idea. Create your own show. Go to a WordPress site. Build an easy-to-do blog. Go to rev.com. Upload the audio for, say it's a 20-minute video or something like that. So it's $20. You get all that content, all original stuff, plaster the video up there. Bing, bang, boom, done. So they look great. You have a show. You have more content. You have leverage. Seth, you're a genius, man.
The key is, just like all of this stuff, you have to put yourself in the shoes of the person that you're going to showcase. You need to make them look good. You need to make them the hero. And if you do that, people are more likely to say yes. They're like, oh, I definitely want to be on your show. Your show looks great. You've got an audience, and it's going to be about me, because as much as we like to think that it's about you, it's about your customer or the influencer. Like we're egos, right? We're egocentric. And if you can make them successful, happier, healthier, or more money, you're golden.
It's so true. It's so true. It's all playing. I was listening to an interview. It's with a master negotiator. He used to be the head of the FBI, hostage negotiations and like that kind of a level of a guy. And that's what he was talking about, is verbiage shifting and making them the hero, psychologically making them a little bit superior than you, so then you can then pull the puppet strings below, because they have the ego boost, the serotonin hit. Like, ooh, aren't I pretty cool? You're like, no, bitch, I got what I want.
I got it.
But it's really, really, I'll try to post that interview somewhere, but it's so weird how that's coming around more and more. It's fascinating when you get into the psychology of it,
It is. Yeah. That's just the idea of kind of putting yourself in a subservient position makes it easier to persuade someone to do something.
Yeah. And I don't actually think about it. I actually don't think about it subservient. I just think about, like, if it were a friend and you called a friend to be on your show, you would be thinking about how you could make them successful, get them more business. That's all it is. It's like you just look at people and go, hey, how can I help you? Like, hey, is it spreading your content? Is it making a better video? I want to shoot a video. What would be the best video for you? Like, that's a whole different conversation than I want something.
Yeah.
Service-minded mindset, right?
That's it. That's why we're in this business.
Helping people be more successful. So we want people to go check out the book, which is about to come out, and then we'll maybe dive into a couple more things before we close out. So it's great. The Road to Recognition. So when does the book have an official drop date?
Yeah, Valentine's Day.
Seriously, nice.
Sweet.
Yeah. So
is that a subtle hint to all of us guys? Road to Recognition. You just give it to the I recognize you, honey. I love you.
You know what? Hey, happy wife, happy life. That's how it works. If you haven't figured out how to take care of your mate and how to make sure that it's good at home, it's really tough to have great success outside of that.
Yeah, it's really true. It's not about you. It's about the team. It's about the other person. Because true love is putting someone else first. And that goes for your clients. That goes for your wife or husband or partner or anything else. If you go put them first, they will then know and want to give back to you, because they know that you love them, not just yourself.
You need them, right? You need the support of your community and the people around you. You need your spouse to be successful. There is rarely an individual that is a solo, didn't need anyone to be successful. Like, we all have pillars that we rely on that surround us. And if we figure out how to nurture them, they're more than happy to reciprocate. That's the law of reciprocity.
I was just going to say that.
There you go.
All right. So in the last few minutes that we have left, there's a couple of things I was hoping we would get to. So tell me a little bit about like when you're first starting out and you're looking at, what do I do? Like, where do I start with branding myself? Tell me about just that first step of Googling yourself and seeing what comes up, and how do you evaluate what you look like to other people?
Yeah. So the first thing that I would do is I would Google myself, is literally go into Google, go into Yelp, go into Zillow, and go into Realtor and type in your name and see what comes up. So the first thing that you might see is there may be a different image in each one of them. There may not be consistent information about who you are. You probably haven't written that bio in a human way, and it's probably not consistent across all of them. So that's the lowest hanging fruit. Hire a photographer that makes you look as good as you're going to look. Like, we all don't like the way we look in some way. Like, your tooth is crooked, your ear sticks out, you got, whatever part of your body that you're not comfortable with, it doesn't matter. Hire a great photographer, shoot an image of you being human, and human is, you should be able to smile and like have this sort of joy come out of who you are, and then make that consistent across all of your platforms. So that image, because I don't know you yet, and I need 7 to 9 times of sort of seeing you to make a connection. We process images 60,000 times faster than the written word. So your image, that blink of an eye, like, think about it. You walk down the street every day and you're assessing, oh, interesting shoes. Wow, why did they wear that suit? Oh, I don't like that dress. Oh, she's got nice eyes. Like, we do that all day long. People are doing that to you, and they're doing that digitally as well. And so if you're going to take the time to make that cohesive, so that's step 1 and step 2. Step 3 is, go ahead.
No, after you.
Step 3 is, once you figure out who you are and what your subject matter expertise is in your space. So let's say you are the best at 1031 exchanges, or you are expert at negotiation, or you are a community builder, whatever your thing is, your bios need to have some sort of cohesive representation of that. So when I go there, I'm like, oh, I get what this person does. And then when I start to dive deeper, when it's time, I can go somewhere, i.e. should be your site, or some page on your site, to really learn more about who you are. And that's where the 360 video comes back in, the ability to use that content to tell stories about where you add value and the communities that you serve. So it's all part of the same thing, but you start super basically.
That's awesome. I think that's really important, because a lot of people, I mean, my team included, I mean, shit, come on, seriously. I mean, I'm a 12-year-old in this fucking photo. But I mean, I don't look like that anymore. And, I mean, changing that, right? I've just asked them, like, dude, literally just cut my head off, plop my new one on, we can do it these days. I mean, it's not going to be a big problem. And make it look better. They'll change the brand.
The problem is there's not a lot of incentive in it for those guys, because that's what they looked like 10 years ago. They probably like that better. Like, there's not a lot of, like, you're fighting human nature on that.
They're Ken dolls, man. They don't age. Seriously.
They
look exactly the damn same. But it's just, Seth, for you, man, Arne and a bunch of other people that are making comments on this show right now, they're saying that they're inspired. They love the ideas. They got hundreds of ideas. They're going to go out and take it into action. So, I mean,
that's great.
You guys, if you've lived under a massive rock and you don't know what Playster is, just please slap yourself, and then quickly go over and go to Playster, and sign up for them. I am personally been a client of theirs for a couple of years at least now.
That's great.
They got
awesome.
A super easy templated website. It's super clean, and no muss, no fuss. You get everything you need there. You have an IDX feed included. It's like what, $10, $12, $15 a month. It's nothing with the IDX.
That's our most basic, and then we have all the tools after that. So if you want, you want lead capture, let's say you're a broker, you need to do lead routing. Let's say you want to do drip email or marketing automation. We've got all those tools. Let's say you want someone to do it for you and create some content. You can also do that. So it's all tiered depending on how much you need to do.
Not to mention your academy, which is epically awesome. I mean, the shit you put out is mind-blowingly good.
Thank you very much. We've got a great team. The key there, and this is what I would say to emulate for anyone, is we've made that free. Like, we front-loaded relationship free, because if I have to wait until someone's a customer to give them value, like it's a lopsided relationship.
Waiting a long time.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I may not ever get to create relationship with a whole bunch of people that are going to be valuable. You'll find that if you start doing these brand activities, people will refer you who have never been your customers. They just know that you are an amazing human being that has given them value. And that's what branding is all about.
The funny thing is, there's been countless dozens of times I'm like, you guys got to read this thing from Playster, or here's this thing from Playster, or my source is Playster. So I mean, I do the same thing to you guys, so it's evident. And when I heard you were from Playster, I'm like, I perked up. I'm like, really? Ooh.
That's awesome. Super excited. We are. I mean, we feel like we've been so fortunate, one, to be at the right place at the right time, but we also have these amazing clients. Like, so we're based in Boston and we have an office in Chicago. All of our support team is in-house. We don't outsource any of that stuff. So we've got real humans that understand our product, but also understand marketing that agents and brokers go through, and can set up the digital part, which is, sometimes that's the hard part when you're trying to run a business. We get it, and we really try our best to really pay that forward.
So just so you know, I'm not full of shit. Here's a printed out guide from you guys right here. And I think I have a couple more in here.
Oh, I know.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I was gonna say I know there is, because I've been in your office, Greg, and I remember seeing stuff there. Yeah, I call it his hobbit nest, because between all the legal pads and all the printouts of blog posts and guides and stuff like that, it looks like he's a hobbit nesting.
We haven't brought that one up for a long time.
I know, I haven't. But it's funny because you say it offhand now, and I don't know if anybody that's seen the show in the last year even knows what that's referring to.
No clue. Yeah. Absolutely no clue.
All right. So let me just say a couple of things. Number one, go to theroadtorecognition.com. So if you click on the button there, you can get a free ebook and join the list and stay up to date on when the book comes out, which is Valentine's Day. So if you were listening to this replay after the fact, either on iTunes or YouTube, the book is probably out. So go pick it up. So just for the live viewers, if you want to stay updated, go to theroadtorecognition.com. And then I was looking, it's funny, Seth, I was looking at, Googled myself. I obviously have a very common name. So apparently I am I'm an actor director. I'm a British lead singer of the band The. I'm also a San Diego real estate agent, which is small world. He actually friend requested me on Facebook, the Matt Johnson, San Diego realtor. So yeah, it's you never know what's going to come up. So
that is funny.
Yeah, make sure you Google yourself. And Seth, you made this point. I think offline we didn't dig into it too much on the live episode, but you make sure you check out your profiles on. You mentioned Yelp, but also Zillow, Trulia. Make sure that you look good. Make sure your profile photo is consistent. Guys, if you remember, we did an episode with a guy named Preston Zeller here. What was that, 6 or 7 months ago, where he talked about how to create a great headshot. That is an incredible resource, and he gave some tips for how to crowdsource and get some feedback from people on what your best headshot actually is, rather than just what you think it is, which was amazing feedback. So
it was Photo Feeler. That's what it was.
Photo Feeler. There you go.
I was trying to remember that. I'm like,
yeah.
All right, I'm going to post the link in there.
So, Seth, anything you want to leave people off with?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things that require zero talent to do this stuff.
Well, thank God.
One is
that's why we have a job.
Show up on time, pay it forward, do more for others than they do to you. Like we say this stuff. I mean, this is stuff from the Bible. We say this stuff, but if you do that and you think about your marketing as like, hey, how can I add value to the people that I'm marketing to? So an example of that is, don't just run an ad and just send them to a lead capture and get their email and just call them up, and if they're not ready, like put them on a drip. Actually give them something that might be valuable for them that they can use and hopefully share with the people around them. So example, case in point, imagine you're running leads for new listings, which that's a very successful lead to run. And imagine that you've also create this weekly email that is all the new listings in your market that someone can sign up for. So you run the ad. Of course, you want to get the person and you want to do a showing, But if not, you also want to offer them this thing that's a value. They're looking for new listings. You take the time to curate the new listings in a market, and you make sure that they get on this list. You are thinking through the process and through the eyes of the person that is looking at that ad. And if you take that mindset, you will crush it online, because 99% of the other people are not. They're looking to churn and burn. Get a lead. If they don't close, I'm going to move on, and maybe I'll put them on a drip notification, and maybe I won't. And most likely, even if I put them on drip notification, I didn't write the emails. Think about that. Do you know what I mean?
100% true. Yeah, exactly. Yep. They got it from somewhere. They bought it. They downloaded it.
Yeah, they bought it. They never even read it.
Yep.
If you take the time, it's just a little adjustment. You can stand out from everyone else in your market.
Well, you know what you did? You just stood out from the clutter of online companies, because Sandy and Larry from Hawaii, they're quitting Easy Agent Pro and they're coming to you, buddy.
So that. Thank you so much.
And Sandy,
so much.
you are not going to be disappointed, man. I mean, if I can figure out how to put the site together, you can figure out how to put the site together. Actually, I lied. Eileen did.
Eileen runs the show, I'm pretty sure, right?
She does. Yes. We work for her 100%.
That's how it works. That's how it works.
Oh, all right, guys. Well, let's start wrapping this one up. Greg, what do you got?
Can we keep him?
What's up?
I'm around, man. You can get the book. That's what you can do.
We got to get I mean, I was making a joke, but I'm being deadly serious. I mean, would you mind coming on again with us? Because I mean, I know we haven't really even scratched the surface. We're getting phenomenal interaction with our viewers right now.
That's great.
You're helping a lot of agents that need a lot of help right now, and I would love to get you back.
I'd be happy to. We can dive into anything from video marketing, email marketing, content marketing.
Oh my God, yes, all of them.
Near and dear to my heart.
3 more shows. Yeah. Okay.
Near and dear to my heart. Fun stuff.
Good. All right, guys. Well, thanks to everyone that's watching here live on Facebook. There are too many people to thank individually, but I mean, Haley and Sandy and Michelle and Arne, and good Lord, there's a ton of people. But anyway, so thanks, guys, for watching, for commenting, for talking to each other in the comments. That's always fun to watch as it scrolls by. But
I love that.
Anyway, go over to, do a couple of things. Number one is subscribe to the show. So hit us up on YouTube, iTunes, or Stitcher, depending on whether you want the audio or video versions. On our website, McDanielRealEstateSystems.com, you can get a couple of things, which are Greg's favorite scripts. And then you can also get our high-tech, high-touch real estate farming video course. That is 8.5 hours of solid training of Greg unloading everything out of his brain and unpacking it and putting it into a nice little suitcase that lives in video form and can be downloaded directly into your brain in a short 8.5 hours of viewing. So that's on there as well. Sure. And then, Greg, how do you want people to connect with you?
Follow me, guys. Please follow me on Facebook. Send me Facebook messages. It's the easiest way for me to communicate with you. I used to say, call me. Nah, that's so antiquated, man. That's like so 2016. Facebook message me and follow me on Facebook. I am at my max on friends, and that's 5,000. I occasionally I pissed someone off. I have 4,999. There's an in. But follow me guys right now, and you'll stay up with the live prospecting that I do 4 nights a week at 4:30 Pacific Standard Time, calling around just pendants and just solds. Interact with me there. Always, download the show and let us know what we can do to help you guys. The McDaniel Challenge. If you guys watch older videos, if you hear that phrase, it is on pause because I am booked out. And Seth, you'll like this. I'm booked out till 2018, April of 2018 for the free coaching that I give out. And that's so, guys, awesome. I can't do it anymore right now, but we will start it up again. But I do answer questions on the fly. So if I'm walking to and from somewhere, I'm usually answering something or whatever else. So just reach out. I want to bring as much value as I can to you because why, Matt? We love you.
That's right.
And we do.
Go. That's it. Nice work, guys.
Thank you so much, Seth. We really, really appreciate you being here. And thanks, guys, so much for watching. We'll see everybody else on Friday. We've got another great guest coming up. We're going to actually continue talking about branding and marketing. So that's another great show coming up on Friday. We'll continue the conversation. Awesome. So we'll see you guys then.
All right, guys. We're out of here. We love you. Seth, you're amazing. Matt, you're awesome. I'll give you that.
Guys, I thought I was going to get a little less than that. All right. Good.
Yeah, exactly.
I did. I won't
got it today.
Yeah, you're a little underwhelming today.
All right, guys. Peace. We're out of here. We love you. Bye.
Thank you.